Hey, what's up everyone? My name is Jeff, and today we're going to have some fun playing Legends of Runeterra. So I typically play Magic the Gathering, but because of the ban announcements that came out and they're not going to actually take effect for a few days, Magic the Gathering just didn't seem as fun for at least the next few days here. So I wanted to jump into doing something that I have been having a lot of fun with. And so I'm going to go ahead and showcase a deck that I think is a great one for starting out, and also just kind of introduce to my channel a little bit more of this game. I know a lot of you guys have tested this out, but I also know a lot of you guys have not checked it out at all. So let's go ahead and jump right into it. So if you guys have played or heard of League of Legends, then this is the card game for League of Legends. We get to have a lot of the champions here: TEEMO, Ezreal, Zed, all these guys are in it, and it's still, this game is kind of in its infancy. They just officially released, I had access to the earlier versions and I played for a little bit, but didn't really get into it too much just because I was so involved with Magic. I really love Magic the Gathering, and that's not going to change. But I am really, really impressed with how well they've done this game. And first off, it's already on a mobile phone, which is great. And I wanted to showcase the deck that I have probably the most fun playing. It was one of my early starter decks that I had. And if you guys do end up getting like the starter bundle to get into the game and doing stuff, this is a deck that's pretty easy, pretty quick to put together, and you get to have a lot of fun, interesting interactions with it. And so what we're trying to do is I'm going to go ahead and talk about this deck kind of as though you already know a little bit about it, and we're going to be showcasing the gameplay a little bit more as we go along later on. But what this deck is built around is the poison Puffcaps, which is a super fun, interesting thing where you get to you plant 5 poison Puffcaps on random cards in the enemy deck, and so it's inside their deck. And if they draw it, if a poison Puffcap randomly had been put onto that one, it deals 1 point of damage. And so that's what the poison Puffcaps do, is they end up dealing 1 point of damage, and so we end up planting a bunch of them into the deck. And so TEEMO here, first off, plants the poison Puffcaps onto cards whenever he attacks the Nexus Strike. He has elusive, which means that he can't be blocked very easily. And then once we have 15 or more Puffcaps planted into their deck, then we level up our TEEMO to then be a 1-mana 2/2 with elusive as well. And whenever he strikes the Nexus, then he'll double the number of poison Puffcaps in the enemy deck. And we're hoping to get that up to a number that's above 50, basically. That's the point where it's doing enough damage every draw step or every time they draw a card that it's going to close out the game as long as we can keep ourselves alive. And that's kind of where this is a deck it's kind of an aggro mix with the side of control, where we want to go aggro, we want to put as much damage onto their Nexus as possible, but then we want to be using the poison Puffcaps in the late game as just a way to deal damage to them without us having to do much of anything. But as you can see, it is a trap. It deals 1 damage to their Nexus as they draw that card. And so we have a lot of ways to be making these Mushroom Clouds. So Mushroom Cloud is just the basic 1-mana burst, which if you guys are playing coming from Magic the Gathering, burst is kind of like interrupt or instant speed stuff. There's slow, which is sorcery speed. There's fast, which is instant speed, and then there's burst, which is more like the interrupt, where like it can't be interrupted. It's going to happen. It's burst speed. Which I think is really, really cool that they utilize that burst speed so consistently, especially in a digitized game where you're not having to wait for responses on every single thing. Although I think some burst speed things are a little bit overpowered. That's my opinion. Anyway, so then we have just a bunch of creatures that when they're summoned, they create a Mushroom Cloud in hand. So we get to create a bunch of these Mushroom Cloud cards into our hand with our Clump of Wumps, our and the Chump Wump. Great names for these guys. This one creates 2 Mushroom Clouds into our hand. And then we also have our Puffcat Peddler. These are the main cards in this deck, where whenever you cast a spell, you plant 3 poison Puffcaps on random cards in the enemy deck. Well, each one of these spells, and the spells are not just like with Magic the Gathering, that's creatures and spells, or everything is a spell as long as you're casting it. There is a difference here for the spells, which are the circular type of things, and then the creatures are the ones that are the full blocks. We get to cast a lot of spells in this deck, and that planting 3 for every time that you cast a spell can definitely add up, and it can quickly get our TEEMO to a point where it is leveled up, and then doubling up the poison counters as much as we can. with elusive, it can only be blocked by other creatures with elusive, and so there are occasionally some decks we run into that have the elusive side of things that we're not going to be able to get in with TEEMO. We're not going to be able to double the poison puff counters, and also some decks that are just really aggressive, and so we're going to have to try to win through other means, and that's where we have the rest of our deck. We do have a really heavy lean towards elusive. Green Glade Duo is just a perfect elusive creature that can get a lot of damage in if there's multiples on the battlefield. Whenever we summon an ally, it gives it +1/+0 for the round. We get to attack in and do a bunch of damage. We have a lot of just direct damage, either to kill creatures for 2 damage to do anything here, either to do creatures or to the opponent's face. And same type of thing, Ezreal will also kind of help us out. So Ezreal is a 1-up for a champion. So this is something new and cool about what I love about Legends of Runeterra is that you only get 6 of the companion or champion cards. It really helps you kind of have to build a little bit differently, kind of like the way companion has been going in arena magic, in arena right now. Anyway, so Ezreal's kind of like a side focus for us. It's nice to have the Mystic Shot. Honestly, I think that maybe just going for more copies of Zed may be better than just the Ezreal, but I love the idea of Ezreal just to be getting in the extra points of damage, and we have lots of ways to target our opponent's stuff, even though that's not necessarily going to be the main way that we win with this deck very often. Flash of Brilliance, we just want to be casting more spells. This creates a random spell for 6+ in hand, and we basically get that mana back as long as we're casting spells. And with the number of spells that we're casting in this deck, it makes a lot of sense to be playing Flash of Brilliance, and we can occasionally get a really powerful spell in the late game while we're still playing lots of cheap spells to be able to have us have a shot in the late game. And it is a random spell, so it's random shot whether or not it's going to be useful for us or a completely dead card in hand. But being able to cast this for free and getting, Puffcat Peddlers going off is really, really useful for us. Get excited, discard a card to deal 3 damage to anything. Pretty fast, just a really good card. I think only 2 copies here is the right number for our deck. We can discard our Mushroom Clouds pretty consistently and easy, but we don't necessarily want to be discarding just for the sake of discarding unless it's really useful to kill something for 3 damage. Shadow Assassin, just a more elusive stuff in here is really, really nice. It helps us draw some cards and keep going with our elusive. If we can get in 2 or 4 points of damage with this creature throughout the course of the game, it is amazing and perfect for us. And then hopefully the Puffcaps should finish the game for us. Twin Disciples, Zed is the other side of this where I feel like just really helps with the aggro side of the deck, and I think it really, really adds to it because we have so much targeted removal in the deck to be killing creatures that would go up against the Zed side of things. We do have Deny in the deck as well to protect them a little bit more. We can kind of hold back, or just kind of we can be on the attack and kill a lot of their creatures while we're attacking with Zed and the Living Shadow. Get their damage. This will probably do about 6 points of damage pretty consistently while Zed stays alive for a turn or 2. And that is enough to let our poison puff counters really take over the game. So Zed is just the perfect additional commander or companion in this. What is it? Champion. There we go. Champion. I'm so used to magic terms. and then we have here Static Shock, which deals 1 damage to anything, 1 damage to 2 separate things, and you get to draw a card. The draw card here is the main reason we like it. We're running a lot of these because of Ezreal, but I am debating if it's worthwhile to actually be taking these out of the deck because with the Bilgewater, there's a lot more things with higher toughness. This is pretty good against the burn deck. If you get to survive till turn 4 and be able to utilize it in a good way, but a lot of the stuff you can kill on that. So I with the burn deck, it just barely got nerfed. It's basically the red deck wins of Legends of Runeterra, and so that deck has been nerfed a little bit, so it does change up things a little bit. Dusk and Dawn, Dawn and Dusk, you summon 2 exact copies of an ally. They are ephemeral, which means that they're going to die that turn. At the end of the turn or when they strike. And so this is a really fun card to copy either our elusive creatures that will just get in for extra damage. We can copy a Zed and also create a wide board of really powerful attackers. Same thing with Empyrean. So I feel like just 1 copy of Dusk Dawn or Dawn Dusk, and especially if we can copy a TEEMO, all of a sudden doubling up multiple times to the number of Poison Puffcaps in the opponent's deck will definitely close out the game for us. So that's just like a 1 mana thing that kills everything. The Empyrean, a really, really big elusive creature is just really powerful. Throwing it down at the end of their action turn and then swinging in is really nice. Yeah, that's basically the deck. So let's go ahead and jump into the gameplay, see how it does for us, and wish me luck. All right, getting rid of everything. Our main game plan is the Puffcat Peddlers. We'd love to have 1 and 2 drops since we have so many in this deck. The nice thing here, and this is something that's way different between Arena or Magic and this game, is that whenever you don't spend mana, you get to have extra mana for spells only after the fact. And so we can save up to 3 magic symbols for spells later on. And we're going to go ahead and make sure that happens here. All right, so they're going to have an answer for our stuff, but I think that we'll be fine because we have protection as well. So pass the turn. I mean, I guess I could attack in and pump if I needed to, but we'll be fine. Lots of challenger stuff. All right, so we're going to go ahead and get out the Puffcat Peddler. They're going to try to kill it. We're going to pump and then start planting some Puffcaps. Dude, my nose is so itchy today, I don't know why. Yep, we'll end the round. That's just fine. We will actually want to save our mana for as long as we can. Get out the other Puffcat Peddler and just start going crazy with this while and when we can. We'll go ahead and plant one of these. So plant 11 Puffcaps. No damage has been dealt to us so far. We're already jumping into the lead a little bit here. Of course, Ash is always a scary one. But pass the turn. And we're just hoping that with a little bit of defense that we have here, we can stay in this game. Yep, there's Ash. Which I think whenever she attacks, she Frostbite's the strongest enemy. We'll be fine. Most likely. We'll see. All right, Flash of Brilliance is really nice here. All right, I think we're just going to protect ourselves from damage for a little bit. We need to get as many Puffcaps into their deck as possible, and hopefully we can find some good things. Swap 2 allies and give them barrier this round. Ooh, that's actually pretty nice. I'm really hoping they don't have some sort of response here. We don't get to hold up the deny, but swap here and here. Give them each barrier. Wait, shouldn't I be able to? Oh, block. Okay. So block like that. Hopefully be able to kill the Ash. Okay. They're keeping Ash alive, but I guess that's fine. Just this round. Okay. And then we'll play out Greenblade Duo. 23 Puffcaps in their deck. Hopefully we can start having them draw a few of those. We still are needing to not be dead. That's an important thing. I think I might go for the Zed attack here. With the quick attack, hopefully it can go pretty well against the Ash. And our Twin Disciples Burst should help against Frostbite. Rallying, that's interesting. Okay. We still get to attack first.
They follow the wrong master.
So attack in.
Have many faces.
It's kind of interesting to block when they have the rally. Okay.
I am the shadow.
So she's going to Frostbite our Greenblade Duo, which is pretty fine with us. They get to also challenge a couple times. I think we hold this up instead of the Shadow Assassin, so pass the turn. They get to attack again on the next turn. Luckily, we've stayed alive. Pass the turn. They have no responses. Okay, chump block here. Let's just keep Zed alive. I think that's our best shot at actually getting damage in enough to matter. We only have 26 Puffcaps. We could keep this guy alive and start trying to get to more, but I think that we need to try to play a little bit longer game. They just have so much value out way too quick for us. And they get to attack again on this next turn. Not fun.
Carved from the savage cold.
All right, frostbited, frostbit. So we know that whatever we play, the chump up or this one is going to get frostbit from Ash. And then killed by this. They're going to get in for a big hit kind of no matter what we do. I think I try to hold up the static shock or like some way to... I feel like drawing the card there was our best chance. And it has vulnerable, right? All right, so we block here. And we static shock Ash and I guess their face. Try to draw some more cards. We get to kill Ash this way, so we still have to deal with Sejuani. They're getting in for 3 points of damage. That's not too much.
Darkness.
You fought well.
But we lost a lot of our board. Okay, down to 8, so I think we go Chump Wump. And I'm hoping all we want to do is just try to survive as much as we can. All right, they're healing their Nexus, lame sauce. We could go for the Puffcat Peddler, but I think it's another Chump Wump here. The wolf can definitely kill some of these guys. Oh my gosh, dude, they just have literally everything. How about that? Again, I think that we're just trying to slow the game down a little bit. Try to get them... I mean, if they have less cards in their deck as well, it helps a bit. If we can get out Puffcat Peddler and then a crazy amount of mushrooms, hopefully that's enough to do some stuff. We could also find like Mystic Shots to keep something alive.
Stand and fight.
So we can try to get damage dealt to Sejuani so that we can actually deal with it, or we can actually kill creatures that just to get less damage through. I think that this overall is better. We lose all blockers, and if they can rally again, that's going to be rough. They're up to 14 now. They just gained a little bit too much life, I believe. We can get a lot of Poison Puffcaps into their deck. Oh. Alright, we'll counter that. That used up most of their mana, luckily. What do I think about the companion changes? Sorry, man, I just recognized that I wasn't even looking at chat. I don't know. I'm kind of in between with what they did with it. I think I want more blockers out for now, and then we can go. Yeah, again, whatever we can to just prolong this game. Yeah, Umori, Obosh, there's a few that I think that are pretty gutted by it for sure. We actually get to attack in pretty aggressively here. Do I want to attack with Zed? This is basically acting like we have something going on here. If they have another battling strike, this can be a big blowout. But we get in for a big hit with the duo by having two creatures come in. And we can hopefully draw into something worthwhile here. We shall see.
Let's talk about your tab.
Ooh. That's large in stature. Wasn't really expecting that. It's only for this turn, so it'll go back to its normal stats after the fact. So we're just gonna hit Sejuani, hit their face, try to draw something useful here.
I've always been a fun guy.
Oh, I forget that you can't react as soon as you draw something. Yeah, well. Alright, we're just going to get as many poison Puffcaps in their deck as we can. We can most likely survive another turn. And with 52 Puffcaps, 27 cards, I mean, everything is completely random. There is a pretty good chance that we do get like 5 points of damage each turn. I typically have worse luck than that, though. Yeah. Yeah.
Break their spirits and their swords.
I think that what we do here is we create a copy of this guy. And then we just cast a spell. Get a bunch more poison Puffcaps in there.
I demand satisfaction. Aha.
Born for conquest.
Would a mushroom help?
Yeah, I mean, this isn't a great turn for us necessarily. We get to kill a couple things. We get to block pretty aggressively. 68 Puffcaps in their deck. Hopefully they actually start drawing them. That is the biggest downside of this deck, is that sometimes you just don't get a whole lot going for you. We do get the illegal contraption, which is a 5/5. Should be able to deal with Sejuani. Ooh, and a TEEMO. TEEMO's good. Alright, play TEEMO. We know that they don't have any response to this. Oh, I guess so, they do have a card in hand. I don't think we go for attacking here, so just attack in. Down to 9, and they have 134 Puffcaps in their deck. Summon this guy as a blocker. I think the worst case scenario is that they have like an Ash here. Alright, how many Puffcaps? Okay, 4. That's still not quite enough.
Attack.
They block here. We know that they have cards that give them plus pump, +2, +4, +4. So we just are really hoping that the Puffcaps work, basically. So this is what we've got going on. We just shuffled another TEEMO into our deck, so hopefully we can run into that again on our turn. +8, +4. Oh, come on now. All right, good game. Oh man, that was so close, so close. A lot of removal is nice for the early game. We'll probably get rid of the Static Shock, John Tet later. Hopefully find another good 1 or 2 drop that's a creature. Chump One's not bad. All right, this is actually looking pretty good. Pass the turn, we'll take 2. I'd like to not spend any of our spells until we have the Puffcat Peddler out. Unless we really need to kill something. So pass the turn. They get to attack in again. They'll probably just go straight for the attacks before we play something bigger. Yeah, that's fine. We'll take 2. Down to 16 is not too bad at this point.
Oh, if mushrooms could talk.
I'm one of the good guys.
Okay, and there's a misfortune. We'll go ahead and just kill that. Discarding the Mushroom Cloud. And we're already pretty well set up for what we're wanting to do in this deck, which is just get a Puffcat Peddler out, start creating creatures, slow the game down as much as we can, get a Zed. Zed is nice. Yeah, we'll go for Zed.
I'm the blade in the darkness.
How badly do you think that Teferi 3 needed to be banned as well? I don't think he needed to be killed as much as everyone else is thinking. That's just me personally.
Won't suffer long.
Giving them the last breath is annoying, but we are going to attack in. Getting their life a little lower is what matters here. I'm not going to play that right now. I'm actually playing this, trying to record a video.
I am the shadow.
Yeah, so I don't think that Teferi necessarily... Here's the thing is, Teferi is really, really good, really, really powerful, but I don't think it necessarily guarantees the win the same way that other stuff does.
Put on me mask, secure me tail, start the day.
Mystic Shot seems pretty good here. So what I love is having these Mushroom Clouds just kind of available in our deck. I might be posting this one to the main channel for today just because we don't have anything fun to be playing on or normal stuff right now. It's a little bit annoying. Let's see, do I want to block here?
Hey,
I think we can take 4 points of damage right now. Get to protect the Zed. And then we get to pump in for the next turn and most likely kill this guy. Well, we get to hold up Deny as well, I believe. 6 mana, so not quite enough. But getting Puffcaps into the deck, that's what matters. Down to 12. And we're still maintaining a pretty good board state as well. I think we just attack in.
Deny me.
So we're gonna go Flash of Brilliance first. Ooh, that's gonna be a good card for later. And then we'll pump here. Unfortunately, we're pumping after the fact. Which means that this one doesn't get the exact same stats, but this is still fine. All right, we get to kill the guy, bring him down to 13. Zed levels up to a 4/3. And this Dragon's Rage, I think, is probably my favorite card that you can get with the Flash of Brilliance. You an ally kicks an enemy into the enemy nexus, Lee Sin style. And then it'll strike them both. I think it's based off the power of the creature that's doing it. That's a perfect target. The Challenger on the Scout side of things is annoying, but... And this is slow speed. We'll still be able to make this work. Have I played League of Legends? Yeah, I've played a lot of League of Legends. I was really big into it in like 2011, 2010, 2011. Or I guess it was what, 2011, 2012. Sorry. That I was like a really, really big player. And I just kind of died off after I finished college and, you know, got a big boy job for a little bit. The little bit of time I had one.
Strength and grace, beauty in the blade.
Let's see here. What's the best thing to play first? I think that we go for the kill. All right, so you hit that person. Deal 4 to this and 4 to the Nexus. Seems pretty powerful. Unfortunately, we don't get to hold up the counter spell as well. And we're still letting them have a lot of mana before this resolves. But they're not in any counter spell place. The only thing they can do is maybe like pump this a little bit. There we go. Yeah, down below 10 is where we want this to be. Almost leveled up Teemo. We'll get out the Clump of Wumps here and maybe cast 1 Mushroom Cloud just to hopefully start getting a little bit more damage dealt to them. Yeah, opponent surrenders. All right. Getting rid of their champion definitely helps there. All right, replace the Chump Wump. This is looking like a perfect hand. We don't necessarily want 4 drops in the opening hand. We can draw into them later. That's perfect. Having a little bit of removal will be nice. Teemo is a pretty good 1-drop. Like, we get hit in for 3 damage, most likely on this next turn. They will also have elusive stuff. Maybe. So this is the biggest thing. I've not played enough of Legends of Runeterra to know what all is out there. I'm trying to play it a little bit more and try to get into it a little bit more. They definitely don't have a ton of stuff out there though. I just realized that's not a until end of turn ability. That's actually pretty powerful.
Who would trespass here?
Yeah, skip blocks. I think we're going to try to go a little bit aggro with this. Hopefully no elusive. Like, they could have elusive here, so this is a little bit risky playing this out. But seeing what they have, I think they're going to be focusing more on like a barrier type of deck, and elusive is actually really good against that. So I'm thinking this will work out pretty well. Just going to complete the daily challenges. Yeah, I've not been as focused on daily challenges on Arena as much. Most people aren't playing the ban cards, at least in Platinum. Okay, that's good to know. The Dragonath? Yeah, I'm so bad with the name. I can't read. You guys all know this. All right, down to 17. Puffcaps started. Dude, this deck is... I've been really enjoying Legends of Runeterra. I think that... I've just been impressed with how good of a game it is.
You're covered.
All right, something else enters the battlefield. I really wish that I could interact with that. It always frustrates me that I can't. So we're gonna lose our Teemo, but we have another one. So I can Mystic Shot one of these guys. I can Puffcat Peddler but not block. Take 6. I think we do go with the Puffcat Peddler.
I'll have what he's having.
We may even just block here.
Protect and strike.
So yeah, they still Teemo. This lets us go a bit more aggressive, but I'm thinking with just what we have in hand, we might want to play it a little bit slower. Get more Puffcaps. Like, this creature can definitely get out of hand. I think we're gonna skip the blocks though. They can only have 6 creatures on the battlefield, and so we can get to a point where we're stopping them a little bit more. We can go Ezreal into TEEMO, go for a big hit. We don't really get anything else out of it, but then we get to hold up some mana for the next turn. Maybe that's enough. I don't know. I'm not sure Ezreal really is worthwhile here. Over just maybe just holding up the mana for later. Alright, we'll go TEEMO. I'm just... if it gets recalled or something like that, this isn't great.
I walk the space between worlds.
Alright. Basically no mana now. Ezreal at least pumps up the duo here, so we get to swing in for 6. That is a pretty legitimate hit. Don't have the mana for Mystic Shot, but that's fine.
Vine and whisk. Steady my hand.
Enforced equilibrium.
So the way that I play this, if we get TEEMO to hit with its ability, that's great. But for the most part, I'm a lot more focused on the Puffcap Peddler. I just found that's a little bit better overall. Let's go Flash of Brilliance real quick, see what we get in hand. That's pretty nice. That'll help us get closer to leveling up Ezreal.
I know you're thinking and stuff, but could you maybe
Hold up.
They're probably gonna have a barrier come up here soon too. Can we take 6 here? We drop pretty low. They're at 11. Not a lot of Puffcaps in there. I think that we do this. I think we block here. Whoa, 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 whoa. Let me cast my spell. Oh, I forgot that I have to respawn. Dang it. That was just a rookie mistake. I've not played this enough. I'm gonna go ahead and target the Shen here.
firing?
Get him a little bit lower. I'm expecting them to have responses to like our True Shot Barrage, which is totally on theme with Ezreal, by the way. Oof. All right. That's cool. That's cool. They just have a lot of toughness with sights, having barrier and whatnot. I think this one's probably going to be over. I had a major misplay there, and they just have everything. We don't quite have enough to get out Puffcap Peddlers as well. Only 10 Puffcaps. I'm expecting... Let's see here. So attack in first. Give us an extra spell that we can use.
Gotcha.
Or the Nexus.
The Kinku protect those who keep the balance.
Just show me an ally in need. I'll be there.
So we have 5 points of damage in hand. They can't attack this turn. And we could potentially get 2 more points of damage on the next turn. And this is really risky and greedy, but I think that we go here. Here and here. And then we also shock the face. This is a pretty greedy way to go about it, but
Charge.
unfortunately, I don't think this can do. It has to go to different ones, right? Another and another, yeah. Down to 2, we could find the burn. We have, I think, 4 or 5 things. Okay, they don't get the puff cap.
Feel the sizzle.
Cavalry to the
Are we
field.
dead to this hit? I believe so. It is very, very likely.
Eat up, friend.
Yeah, we were all in on finding the burn spell. We'll counter, why not? Oh dang, I forgot I can't block now. I always forget. I'm so used to in arena that you put out all of your responses, and every time you put it, like, yes, I'm going to do that. But on this, you have to choose your blocks and your spells, and then press OK. And I make that mistake all the time here. Are you guys happy with which things got banned? Like, I feel like the 2 that were fringe bans for me was Teferi and Winota, which I didn't actually expect the Teferi to get banned. I know a lot of people were hoping for it, but I didn't expect it. Why does this keep coming up? There we go. I think that's about right. We'll see. This is the Vi deck, which is pretty busted. I think this is the best deck right now. TEEMO's pretty nice here. Yeah, in historic, I agree that was a little bit crazy that they didn't do that. All right, we lose a TEEMO.
Push on without
We
me.
cry. That's cool. TEEMO, you're such a good little guy. Yeah, I think that I'm actually really impressed with how good the companion nerf was. I honestly didn't expect them to do a good job because, you know, history and all. But I feel like they did a pretty good job with the companion mechanic. Like they nerfed it the right way.
Would a mushroom help?
Block here. All right, perfect. I was kind of expecting them to use something there. Getting extra cards out of their hand is great for us. We don't ever really want to block to the point where this is going to die, which means that at least can be attacking in the later turns. But I think our Zed, our Chump Wumps, things like that will kind of help out. I think we go Zed here as we get to attack. I think the worst case scenario is if they have another drain spell. Why aren't these hanging around? Oh, that was rude.
The order.
Runaway bite.
If they have another release, I think we go ahead and attack in here. I was pretty sure we're gonna get some damage dealt. That's not bad. These Flash of Brilliances are going to be really nice for us. We can, potentially there's a lot of these random 6-spell cards that are completely dead in our hand. So we can go off a couple of these, get 6 Puffcaps, and then kill Elise probably. Or just deny that, which we can do that after this as well.
Fun guy.
That's a few Puffcaps from this guy. Definitely worthwhile. If they attack him, we probably will trade. Yeah. But at 5/5, I think we go for Zed. Zed can technically do more damage here if they're still trying to keep Elise alive, and we still have the ability to target some things. 5 mana left. Drain 3 from unit. For the rude. I'm going to fire this off as a response. We have another Dawn to Dusk in our deck, and I don't necessarily want to with anything here. It can be nice with Chump of Wump just to get a bunch of Mushroom Clouds in hand. But actually, is that better than just a illegal contraption? This will slow the game down more. This helps us actually explode. I think we'll discard this. Go ahead and kill the Elise. This will probably let us attack in. They get to drain 3, which means they gain the life. But I'm hoping that with only 2 mana left, they won't be able to play any creatures here. They could have the drain, which creates more creatures as well. The Spiderling thing is again. Okay, yeah, they got it. They got it all.
We must all make sacrifices.
It's playing a lot of removal. Unfortunately, we've not got enough Puffcaps to really be doing much here. Our 2 creatures in hand are good. Spider. Down to 19. Let's go illegal contraption. They still haven't found Vi, which is kind of nice. And so I'm kind of just going for a big creature swing in this next turn. Come on. Alright, spell for spell, that's still okay. We're winning the race at least at the moment. They've drawn pretty dead, it seems like, as well. Deny is nice here.
I got ways to find me mushrooms.
Oh my gosh, dude, they have just had so much removal. Yeah, I will deny it this time. Again, if this is like all that they have in their hand is just a bunch of the removal type spells, we get to attack in, do some damage, and that'll make me happy.
That's a harvest right there.
They'll probably chump block here. Take it. Interesting. Down to 13. Ezreal's pretty nice. We're going to play it at the end of the turn. Man, that's good. Manor Ledros. Alrighty then. We get hurt much. So I'm expecting them to attack in here. There's no reason for them not to. Just return to hand with the last breath. There's no reason not to play Ezreal. It's a good blocker for the Spiderling, but I don't know. Maybe holding on to it to give the pump for when we attack is better. Dude, Dude, they have had literally everything. Yeah, I should have held off a little bit longer. Honestly, this ends up being almost better. Because it means that we get to keep our chump up to block this guy. And we have to block to not be dead, so we're gonna do that. Trying to think of what our best shot is from this point. There's some other good elusive creatures.
Hey, Krabby.
Get in for 5. We get to chump on the next turn. They get this back, get to deal double our damage again. Ah. Atrocity. Nice. Nice, nice, nice. All right, we're going to end it here with this one. Overall, I think the deck is... I still have had a lot of success with this deck, even if some of those last games didn't quite go in our favor. And, I mean, there's different decks that are better against other decks. You know, of course, there's the control side, there's the more aggro side. We're kind of going for the more, like, tempo-y aggro. The tempo we play with this one, which I really like. I think it's a very fun deck. It's really interesting. I love the randomness of the poison Puffcaps where you're in the game for forever because you never know. I have seen, even with not that many Puffcaps in someone's deck, having them run into 5 or 6, you know, with like 12 in their deck all at once. And so it can happen. It's not very likely all the time, but it is fun and it's interesting to be able to do this. So anyway, that's it for that deck, and we're going to be moving on.